From three-way Cato. Hoping Cato is not something like dirty that I don't understand. I wasn't going to be in a lot of trouble there. Hey, Tom, watching about 5 years now. Always love the content. Was live on Instagram with Jalen Brooks a few weeks back. So he seems like a great guy. I think he has a real shot of being the number 3/number 4 receiver for the Cowboys. How would you feel if he gets a good shot? Anyways, season's only 4 months away. First off, appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much. I think there is a chance for Brooks to be maybe not receiver 3, but he could easily be wide receiver 4. And injuries happen, he gets bumped up. Right now, I got him at wide receiver 5. I think that wide receiver 3 battle is a battle. I think Jalen Tolbert, with the draft investment, with the production previously used, I think he's your likely favorite, behind Lamb, behind Cooks. Turpin might still only be viewed as a gadget guy slot guy, So if you want another outside receiver, Jalen Brooks stands out. Now, I am very intrigued by Ryan Flournoy, the speedy SEMO wide receiver. Small school player, though, probably going to need some adjustment time. Maybe Jalen Cropper can contribute as a nickel. Martavis Bryant, I'm not going to assume anything there, but who knows? Racey McMath could be like wide receiver 6 and be a core special teamer for you. We'll see if any of the other young guys emerge in camp / the preseason. Now, this one and our next one came in via Super Thanks. It is a feature on YouTube that allows you to donate outside of live video. So you super chat on a live show, you super thanks on any normal video. Click the thanks icon, edit your message, and send in whatever message, question you have. Any super chat equals a shout out. From Mighty Ant, we don't call, we wait till they call us. Steven's way of being a GM. This was in reference to my running back trade targets video. And that is what bothers me. Your ownership, your decision makers, your deciders have come out and said, we weren't making calls during free agency. We were letting the calls and agents and players come to us. And that's fine if your goal was to win the deal. If your goal was to make your team better, it's not going to happen that way. You have to be willing sometimes to lose the battle to win the war. That's not how Steven in particular wants to operate, and it does bother me a lot. It truly does. So what is your confidence level in Stephen Jones running the Cowboys? Because it's really him more so than it is Jerry these days. Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Jordan Gonzalez, thanks, Tom, for all the coverage of the years. Will Dallas start using Ferg like KC does Travis Kelce? Catching or running, he bangs on short yardage. Love that line. I don't know if it's probably not ever going to be full Kelce. That's probably asking for a bit too much, but I was very impressed by Fergie last year. I think he exceeded all expectations. What bothered me the most among many, many things in that playoff game, we spent all week saying, hey, Green Bay lacks linebackers, they lack safeties. You've got to get the ball to Ferguson over the middle. Take those shots over the middle, be aggressive, let Dak and Fergie cook. And they ignored him for the first half of the game. They didn't go to him until late in the game, and then he played well. Then the offense got going too. I think Ferguson should be used right now as your number 2 playmaker on offense in the passing game, maybe even over Brandon Cooks. From Mark, Jerry Jones runs this team with zero anticipation of the cap going up. It's a year-by-year thing. I don't like Dak, but to win now, you redo his contract, sign up for your guys like Hinkins, add 1 or 2 solid free agents. It's too late now. Completely agree. You had 2 paths that I thought were at least defendable. Be aggressive, extend Dak, redo the contract, go add players, win now, or blow it all up. Doing neither is just delaying the inevitable of not being in as good a shape a year later. Also from Mark, if Dowdle is your best running back, that's beyond pathetic. I like Rico Dowdle as like a sleeper, good backup. I don't think he's ever going to be a 200 carry lead back. So you better have a good rotation. I don't think you have a good rotation at the moment. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. They are the leader in daily fantasy sports. Pick more, pick less. That's it. It's that easy. I always advise the flex play, by the way, unless you're doing some of their little special features. They've got demons and goblins. Demons higher projections for points or stats or whatever, and a higher payout. Goblins are lower, easier payout. I don't do the flex play when it is the Goblin because I don't find the risk reward to be worth it there. I do it on the Demon. When I'm doing a Goblin, I just go all in. I do the power play, go for all 3 or all 4, whatever. Here's my NFL season-long prize picks. Again, I'm doing the flex play here. I'm also going the more thans across the board because the risk of injury is kind of already factored in. And if they stay healthy, they're going to hit it because all 4 numbers here are lower than what that player did last season. So more than passing yards from Mahomes and Dak, more than 9.5 CeeDee Lamb touchdowns, more than 12.75 Micah Parsons sacks. Let's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. For Mark Sawyer, I think Micah will play linebacker more under Mike Zimmer, the new DC. More, maybe. A lot, I still don't think so. Zimmer's seen the impact of a really good pass rush. I think he wants that guy out there. I think Micah's also just straight up better at defensive end than he is linebacker. I think you'll see him move around. You kind of saw more of that down the stretch this year. I think that part might continue. Yes. From Musa, if Lance is a preseason like Dak did his rookie year, how quick do you think the Joneses are to go all in with Trey? It's a good question. First off, I hope that happens. I would like to see good things from Trey Lance. I am not certain how likely it is that they would go all in based on the preseason. Remember, the Cowboys didn't go all in on Dak until the regular season got going. And that's when it's like, everyone's like, okay, we kind of have to move forward. The players were all for it, ownership was all for it, etc. So I hope he plays great in the preseason. I would also not presume that, a great preseason means to a lot. I've seen Cooper Rush be great in the preseason. He's had a good year or two. But I want to see more than that. I think, frankly, the minimum for me and Trey Lance is that he plays well in the preseason. Otherwise, I'm going to be really worried about him. Because if he can't beat the backups, even playing with backups, how's he going to beat the starters, even playing with starters? Chris B., if Dak is not signed by the season, I really think this is it. I would probably agree with that. I would be surprised if they don't have a deal done by week 1. At that point, it's not going to get done during the season. And assuming Dak stays healthy, he would probably feel a bit disrespected. Not that I would blame him. And there'd be no team powers control to keep him hitting free agency. And if we're being objective here, at his age, his performance, his, in theory, good health, never seen that type of quarterback hit the open market. And Kirk Cousins was older coming off an injury. Peyton Manning was older coming off a potentially career-ending injury. Tom Brady was older, still played super well, though. Teams are desperate. Bo Nix went 13th overall. If the Dolphins don't pay Tua, if the Raiders did a Raider, they're going to be throwing a bag at Dak because that's going to save those regimes' jobs. You got to get it done by the season, or else I think it's just going to be gone. Juan Ramos, what trade package would you give for Harris will be a fit in the Cowboys offense? I think he would be a decent fit. Owed a decent amount of money, too, which is going to turn the Cowboys off because that's how they operate. I probably wouldn't move more than a 5th or a 6th round pick. I don't think the value's there from an efficiency, big play, which is what I crave. I crave those things. There are things he does well. He's a good power runner. Might be a decent fit in the scheme. Will be, gets decent success rates and short yardage stuff. But the big play that I think you're lacking, he doesn't really bring at this point, unfortunately. From Trev, would you trade for Courtland Sutton? Depends on what Denver wants. And I actually be surprised if Denver flipped Courtland Sutton because they just spent a first-round pick on Bo Nix. They want him to be the guy long-term. Trotting out, Marvin Mims and Tim Patrick and Josh Reynolds is not how you build, and Troy Franklin is not how you build a good receiving room for your quarterback. That's bad. Dude, they kind of need Courtland Sutton out there to be the number one. So you got to overpay for him, plus you got to give him a new contract or at least give him the 1 year that he likes, and that's probably a little bit too much for me. Which Cowboys trade ideas in the comments section? It could be Naji Harris, Courtland Sutton, somebody else altogether. Sound off in the comment section right now. Daniel M., according to reports, Panthers and Gilmore are not close to a contract. I think it opens the door for us to bring back Gilmore. I'd give him 2 years for $6 million. Until he signs, doors open. I don't know how wide the door's open, but it is open. And I would do that deal. I have doubts that Stephon Gilmore would take 3 years, $3 million per year. Because if that was the case, I think Carolina would have already paid him. I think he's probably looking for a little bit more money. Maybe like $6 million per year, not $6 million total. At least that's how I read that. Steven, who's on the hot seat more, Sam Williams or Mike McCarthy? Definitely Mike, I think, still. I would be a little bit surprised if they were... Williams is on the hot seat too, but if you don't like who's more like, I think that the bar to reach for McCarthy is higher than it is for Sam Williams. Williams has to keep his head on straight, learn the playbook, be quality, etc., and have a successful season and get some pressures. McCarthy's got to make it beyond the divisional round, and that's really hard to do when your team has actively made the roster worse. So I think McCarthy is the correct answer there. If you guys haven't already, hit that sub button for more free Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos. It's youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Free Cowboys videos right now. Jimmy, will Jordan Lewis hold down the slot on defense? I think he's a bust. Kind of don't get the bust part. He has had like 3 contracts now at Dallas and has been a good nickel corner. You're paying him nothing. I feel confident about Jordan Lewis holding down that nickel spot. That foot injury he came back from was a disaster. And he came back and played well. In theory, he should be even better another year removed from it. So I feel confident in Lewis in there in the nickel. From Ratio, a $5 super chat. Naji Harris, what did I miss? We did break it down earlier on a previous video, I should say. There's also a mailbag question on it. A reporter who's not a reporter, just throws shit at a wall, had said, the Cowboys trade partner for Naji Harris, and fans decided to give him a 4th-round pick. I don't think he's available. I'm not trading a 4th-round pick for him either. But the Cowboys are going to be linked to every single running back that comes available. Every single one of them. They will be linked to Dallas because they are in a shaky spot along the offensive line, or in the backfield, excuse me.